I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please stand to salute the nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In attendance this evening are Supervisors Fisher, Agizio, Casiola, Fleer, and Barney. In addition, Don Januso, Township Manager, Jack King, Director of Planning and Assistant Township Manager, Bill Bodorf, Director of Public Works, Engineer Dan Dizeroth of Gateway Engineers, and Attorney Gretchen Moore, Township Solicitor. Comments will be taken at this time for any item to be voted on by the board that appears on the agenda. General Township comments or questions will be addressed before the close of the meeting. Please step to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Anybody, is that Rain? Yeah. Go ahead, you can just step right up here.
My name is Ian York. I'm at 204 Lynn Drive in New Brighton, Pennsylvania. Okay, I'm here to address the board about item...
We can't hear, can you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm here to address the board about item 159. I represent First Choice Plumbing about our non-conforming zoning.
Okay.
And I'm here just to address the board, to answer any questions that they might have about the zoning.
Okay.
I don't object to that.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I think that if the board votes to approve that, then there's going to be a pending appeal. I don't think we should be discussing with the applicant.
I mean, at this point, I don't know that there's any specific questions from our board. If any of the board members have discussion during that resolution item that you can address, we'll consider allowing you to come back. But right now, I don't think any board members have any questions.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have comments or questions for items that will appear, that are on the agenda? Okay. I'm going to skip over some of the announcements because there's a bunch. I just will remind you that our next meeting is Tuesday, September 6th at 7 p.m. because of the Labor Day holiday. There's no discussion items tonight, so we're going to jump right into resolutions. The first resolution is 155-2022. Consider application 2022-0017 for the Silver Creek Planned Residential Development, location Silver Creek Lane, R2 Medium Density Residential Zoning District, applicant Miranda Homes. I'm actually going to ask that the board tables this tonight. We held a hearing prior to this meeting at 6 o'clock, and there were some conditions that came up based on that hearing by suggested members of the board, and we need a little bit of time to allow our township engineer and our township solicitor to review those conditions and to write them into a form that we can then present to the applicant. If there's a, okay, so the motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of tabling this, please say aye. 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 Opposed? Darlene, did you vote aye? Aye. Okay. So that's 5-0. We're going to table this.
No, Cindy.
Huh?
Darlene said no.
She said aye. Darlene, did you say yes or no?
For the,
Tabling it?
yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. She said yes for tabling. 156-2022, consider setting a date for the continuation of the public hearing regarding conditional use application 2022-0014 for construction of a new communications tower location 162 County Line Road, R1 Low Density Residential Zoning District, applicant Elevated Properties LLC, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. Where's Jack? Did we get an extension past the August 19th date? Did we reach out to them? I'm sorry. For the communications tower, because we have 45 days from the hearing, which is August 19th. Okay, so then let's set the meeting prior to August 19th just to avoid, so at this point, we don't need a continuation. Hold on one second, let me pull out my calendar. Is anybody opposed to Monday, actually I can't, or Monday, the 15th or the 16th?
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
This is zoning hearing meeting.
Zoning hearing board and
That's okay.
We have less
municipal.
business then.
Well, we could always bump ourselves. We could do Tuesday, the 16th.
Yeah.
Does that work?
16th is better.
Can they, but their meetings are, at 6, right?
6:30.
Wait a minute.
So we could
Municipal
start
code.
it at 7:30. Give them an hour.
But she's checking, the authority,
The
municipal,
authority meets on the 16th.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So we could give them, we could give the authority from 6:30 to 7:30 and then have our meeting immediately following at 7:30.
Fine with me.
Okay.
This way I don't have to go home.
Thrilled about going home, are you? Okay, so we'll set that meeting for 7:30 on August 16th.
And in the meantime, if you do get an extension from the applicant and you want to push it back.
Yeah, we
You
can.
can do that too.
Okay. 157-2022, consider application 2022-0019 for the Crenzia Self-Storage Facility Addition Site Plan Location 90 Cowden Road, C1 General Commercial Zoning District, applicant HMT and Associates. The Planning Commission reviewed this application on July 21st, 2022.
Gary, you want to come up and talk about your plan?
Yeah, this is an accessory building to the,
Can you talk into the microphone?
Sure.
Sorry.
this is an accessory building to the existing self-storage facility, CNC self-storage, located off of Cowden Road.
can you blow that up for us? You can't,
That's what
can't read anything.
Plus.
Better?
Yes.
So the planning commission reviewed this. It's a 100 by 43-foot building. We understand it's strictly going to be for use for an accessory building to help take care of the property here. There's a small access driveway off of it to get into this facility. They've installed a small stormwater management facility right here to address the roof drains, and they have landscaping provided. Kerry, what are these trees, shrubs? Do we have a detail on that?
I do not, I can get you whatever, because they had said that they had wanted a buffer between,
Right.
so we can,
Can we make this visual, like a, something that's gonna grow maybe into a visual screen or something like that, like some
And-
arborvitae? or
And something that's gonna
evergreen?
be year-round, yeah.
right, that's fine.
Yep.
No problem.
Any questions by the board?
Yeah, take it back a second. This is gonna be cold storage?
Pardon?
You brought that thing up, it said cold storage.
Yeah, they're just gonna, the idea is that it's only going to be used for
Tractors
equipment and
or-
other
No
things that are
heat.
No
put in
heat.
there.
No heat in it.
Okay, I was just wondering if it was like refrigerated storage.
No heat.
No, no.
Can you show some on the left, on the south side, whatever of that drive, or something on that side?
This side here.
Yes,
Tom,
yeah,
right
just
there.
something there, because that's where everybody sees coming down.
Yeah,
from.
Yeah, okay, yeah, on that side of the drive, yeah.
Any other board questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved, is there a second?
I would just recommend that the motion include that the landscaping be a visual all year round planting, and there be additional shrubs be planted on the south side of the driveway.
For sure. Carol, did you get that? Okay. It's been moved, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. 158-2022, consider application 2022-0020 for the J. Freed Building Addition Site Plan Location 3337 Millers Run Road, C3 Village Commercial Zoning District, applicant Wildman Chambers Design, or Clamors Design. The Planning Commission reviewed this application on July 21st, 2022.
Is there anybody here to represent this application? Okay, this is the old PNC site along Millers Run Road. And, sorry, I'm gonna scramble a little here. I wasn't expecting to do their presentation. So they're proposing a small addition to the building, and then they're proposing a screening, or I'm sorry, a covered area.
What,
Extent of that.
what are they putting there? What'd you say, Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a, it proposes to enclose a garage area and an unenclosed patio to add on to the site. So really, there's no more occupied space. It's just sort of like amendments to the plan. They're going to restripe some of the parking, but there's really no additional parking. They are adding a bunch of landscaping around the site. They're putting in a trash enclosure. So they're just getting geared up for a different, just adding on to the building to repurpose it. The Planning Commission reviewed it and recommended approval. Again, it's, there's, just trying to see if there's anything else here to. They meet the parking requirements. There's 1 per 300 square feet is required, so there's 12 spaces required, 12 are provided. That's really about it. They've given us a photometric plan, so we know the lighting's okay. They put in the refuge area. They've given us a landscaping plan that meets the requirement of the ordinance. So it's in order.
Dan, I do have a question on that little stub that goes to the next property owner to the west.
Yeah.
With the bank and the fire department in that neighborhood, there was always seemed like there was an access through there all the time. Is that a legal access? Do you know, can they clarify that on the plan?
We can have them add that note to the plan that has to remain in place, but according to this plan. it
No, I'm not suggesting that. I mean, it's their property, but I'm showing that they're not showing any screening there. Is it because they have access down there?
No, they have it blocked off with big concrete blocks.
I know, but I'm just showing the screening, just it seems like that they're keeping that open.
Yeah, they're keeping it open here, definitely for the access. This side, Tom?
Yeah, but do they have legal access to that? Is it?
That's a good question. I don't know that
I mean,
question.
I don't care one way or the other, but if they don't, the landscaping should be straight through there.
I'm with you. Okay.
Can we clarify that?
Yeah, the neighbors down there might have cooperated with the bank and the fire department for all those years, but that doesn't mean the neighbor's going to cooperate with a new business up there.
Agree.
And is it strictly going to be office?
This is just a renovation. I don't think it's a sale. It is office, yes.
So is the current owner renovating in the hopes of renting it out, or do they already have a tenant? Or
I think the
a use?
tenant's going to remain. They're just adding these amenities to the building itself.
Then just make sure it's clarified. I don't care one way or the other. If they have
It's not
access,
him
they can
now,
have it.
though.
Dr. Goods is retired.
Yeah, this is already paved and
His
connected,
son that bought it.
so you'd have to rip it out.
Okay. Is there any other questions by the board? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 5-0. 159, 2022, consider an appeal of the zoning hearing board's decision to grant an additional non-conforming use to an already non-conforming property for the First Choice, Inc., application 2022-0021, location West End Drive, R3 Village Residential Zoning District, applicant First Choice, Inc.
Excuse me, one thing, that really should say additional non-conforming and an additional expansion to an already non-conforming use, because there's two items that the zoning board granted them at the
So
time.
it should say, consider an appeal of the zoning hearing board's decision to grant an additional non-conforming use to an already non-conforming property and an addition.
Well, it could be after the additional non-conforming use and an expansion. That's what they granted.
Okay. So motion amended, Carol, just after the first additional non-conforming use, right, and expansion. He's right, they did expand it. Okay. In any case, Gretchen, go ahead, you want to give us a very brief summary of why this is on there?
Sure. So this is a building that is a pre-existing non-conforming use for storage and warehousing. Historically, there have been 2 letters issued under our ordinance to allow for the continuation of that pre-existing non-conforming use, specifically limited to warehousing and storage. The new application, we had a hearing last month on a new application. The applicant basically asked for an expansion of the use as well as an addition, a physical addition to the building. So there's 2 different provisions of our ordinance. One applies to expansions of pre-existing non-conforming use, and there's a process to go through for that. And then when you want to physically expand a building that houses an existing non-conforming use, there's another part of our ordinance that addresses that, and it has, there are limitations in terms of volume and what can be expanded. So the appeal would be to both of those. Basically, the approval of the expansion of the use, which was adding office space to the warehousing and storage use, as well as the expansion of the physical building.
So moved.
I'll second it. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
3-2. 160-2022, consider application 2022-0024 for the Dalbo Plan of Lots amended, location 21 Muse Bishop Road, C3 Village Commercial Zoning District. Applicant Robert Mikulski. The Planning Commission reviewed this application on July 21st, 2022.
So the board has seen this plan before. I think that there was some need to make minor adjustments to this property line. This is Muse Bishop Road here. This is the existing building that Mr. Mikulski is, I believe, is renovating. And this is the change in the property line. So this line is going away, and we're moving it to the north. I'm not sure where the north area is on here, but we're just moving this property line in a minor distance away from here. It still adheres to the required side yard setbacks. So simple subdivision, and that's it. Planning Commission recommended for approval. We have no further technical comments, so the plan is in order for your consideration.
Is this where he just built the new house?
Yeah, this is a renovation. This is an existing house. This is the gun runner here, right, isn't it?
He was also building, Ron's right, he was also building that new house on Muse Bishop towards 980. Is this that house or an addition, another second house on Muse Bishop Road?
This house is torn down? Okay, so it's the same property he's going to build the new house on.
He's going to, or he did?
I'm sorry, what's your name for the record?
Can you just step to the microphone because we're live streaming so everybody can hear?
The property was torn down, and he's actually building apartments there now. So there is no dwelling on that property at this time.
Where is the property located on Muse Bishop?
It's
Across the street from what?
where the gun runner was.
Oh,
So
okay.
where the log cabin was right across the street.
Okay, so it's across from the house that he was building, that he just built
No,
on the.
no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Huh? This
is on
property
that
right
lot.
here, Dan, my brother owns.
Yeah, your brother's on this side of the road.
Yeah, they didn't tear no house down
This
over
is
here.
on the opposite side.
They didn't tear a house down there.
They tore it down.
They tore a house
closer to
down
the
down
gun
here.
runner. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. This is up on the left-hand side as you're headed into Muse.
Into Muse.
So
high side.
it's where.
I understand that.
Yeah, so it's where, Ron's right, it's where he's building that new house. Remember, he came to us with the home office issue?
No, that's further to the north.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Jack,
Right
where's the
across from my brother's
GIS?
property, Tom.
I'm talking about the new house she's talking about. That's further past this lot.
That's what I'm talking about, the new
but
house,
she's
right
thought there
across
was-
from my brother's.
It's not that one he's already framed in and almost
We got our
done.
own up here.
It's the next lot down.
Right, but it's right
Yeah,
by
Did
there.
you say there was an
Yeah.
icon on
Yeah.
there for?
I know it's not that same property.
The Microsoft Edge. What's the name of it? Ezra. Yeah. That's all right.
He tore the house down on the other side.
I can pull it up.
Right?
You want me to pull it up? Oh, my computer's.
Where Country Fixins is. There's another house.
Jack's pulling up the
And he tore
parcel
the
map.
next house.
Yeah, he has equipment there.
Yeah. Isn't that what we're supposed to be talking about?
Yeah, it looks like it's on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
Have to scroll all the way from Washington to Cecil.
Yeah,
Too far up, you're going in the news, you gotta get down right down here. There you go. Keep going.
Like it goes on Glass Hill.
Yeah, and it's blocking.
Snowplow comes along.
Churches run, go the other way, go the other way.
I'm thinking about that Colorado.
Okay, hold on here.
Here we
There's
go, right
Muse
here.
Bishop right
Here's
there.
Muse Bishop, right. Okay,
So this is
this is
the,
the lot.
this is the, if you look at the, let me get up the map again. So there's this piece here, this big triangular piece here, and then there's a house on here. So this is the triangle piece, and this is the line here that's being changed. This is the Flair property on this side of the road. So this is the house. This is where Dalbo's had a number of the houses here, and I think that the house that Mikulski was working on down here is where he wants to build the apartments. Is this lot right here next to the gun runner? So we're up a little bit further. I don't know why they're making this lot line adjustment. It's just a simple lot line
Gun runner's
adjustment.
down here.
This is where it used to be. Oh, that's right.
He's on the left-hand side when you turn out to Muse Bishop.
Does that make sense?
No, the gun runner's on the left-hand side when you turn on to Muse Bishop. That's a tree surgeon there now.
The gun runner was here.
No, that's
It's across the
Ellis's.
street, Dan.
Or not Ellis's, but that's Country Fixins.
Country Fix.
Country Fixins, yeah,
That's Country
okay.
Fixins
Diner.
and
That was called that the gun
There's
runner.
the
This is
gun
gun
runner.
runner on this
gun
side.
runner's on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And above that is Jack Dalbo's house.
That's where
right
he's
there.
building that house.
Right there in that lot.
Dan, where the dirt is where he's building that house.
Up, yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
that's already being built.
This one right here?
It's already,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's
already
already
built.
built.
Yeah, so it's just an adjustment between this line. I think there was some misunderstanding between the two of them of where the line is, and it's moving further in this direction towards the house. They probably needed more room here to probably put a driveway in.
You said that's what it is? That's the issue, a driveway issue, okay. I mean, it's a minor adjustment, doesn't
I
it?
make a
really?
motion to
I
approve.
think we're kind of making a
Second.
mountain out of a molehill
Yep.
here.
Did you make the
It's
motion?
been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Passes 5-0. Cons- 161, 2022, consider approval for the issuance of a building permit to Kevin Keys for the construction of a new single-family dwelling at 184 Profio Road, McDonald, PA 15057, on the condition that the old single-family dwelling be demolished within 20 days after issuance of an occupancy permit for the new single-family dwelling, and to authorize the township to enter into an agreement with Kevin Keys with regard to same. So he's building a house on property that already has a house, and you can't have two primary structures on one parcel. So, but he is living in the one that's there while the other one's being built. So this just allows him to live in the existing primary structure while the new house is being built, and then gives him a period of time to demolish the old house as 20 days after they issue an occupancy permit, as soon as he can move into the new house. It's a formality, essentially.
So it's 20 days after he moves into the new house that he has to renovate or demolish the old.
Yeah, after the occupancy permit. So it's not 20 days from when he moves, it's 20 days from when we issue an occupancy permit. So he has to demolish the old house. Any questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes 5-0. 162, 2022, consider the first release of financial security posted for the installation of private improvements for loading dock and paved area addition at 130 Technology Drive from $229,203.70 to $22,920.37, a total reduction of $206,283.33 as recommended by the township engineer.
Excuse me. Can we go back 1 second?
Yep.
Someone needs to either Donnie or Dan, say Mr. McCloskey, knows his driveway is all the way out to the white line.
At what?
His driveway comes all the way out to the white line, and it's blocking the water from going to the inlet.
Okay.
Frank even seen it.
Okay. Can you address
Yeah,
that
we'll
issue?
take care of that, Ron.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Any questions
sorry.
on 162, 2022?
Just one thing, Dan, when we have a motion like that, could you name the buildings everybody knows from the 130 Technology Drive? An address doesn't help,
Okay,
so they know what building is impacted.
yeah, I'm not sure what you mean what they call it.
No, he
Tom?
means like Ansys, Mylan, like.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure this one has a name. It's just McGuire
Vacant.
is the name of it, but it's off of Technology Drive. I mean, I could pull it up and show it on the GIS, but this is the site plan. I just wanted to show the board they made improvements to here to improve a loading dock here and put in a detention pond back here. So that's what all these improvements are installed, including the landscaping. They still owe us some minor items on it, so I recommended a partial release. The majority of the work is done. If you'd like, I can pull it up on the GIS. Yeah, in the future, put the name of the building. Where's Jack? You listening to this? Okay.
Okay. Do I have a
Make a
mo-
motion to approve.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. 163, 2022, consider application for payment number 5 for the work completed to date for the Cecil Township Public Works Facility Early Site Package Project in the amount of $213,151.50 by Stewart Contracting, Inc.
So this is another pay app. Mr. Stewart continues to make good progress on the site. They're getting close to doing the undercut for the building, which is included in the bid, and there's no issues at this point. They did have to add some extra drain for some springs that they found up there, but it's not included in this estimate. We'll talk about that next month. But other than that, it's been going smoothly.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. 164, 2022, consider application for payment number 2 and final for the work completed to date for the Cecil Township Parking Lot Project in the amount of $6,349.98 by T.A. Robinson.
I'll make a motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It does look great. They did a good job. 5-0. 165, 2022, consider the second release of financial security posted for the installation of public and private improvements for the sanctuary from $184,631.90 to $103,735.90, a total reduction of $80,896 as recommended by the township engineer.
Yeah, so this is the sanctuary. All the homes are built up there. We're just waiting for them to do the final punch list of things. So we're holding this 80,000. This will be the last release until the road is turned over. So no issues other than, again, just cleaning up the stuff and getting the information to us.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. 166-2022, consider an extension to the contract with Cannon McMillan Youth Soccer Association for use of Klinger Fields for the fall season. This needs to be pending, this motion needs to be pending solicitor review. Dawn and I met with two representatives from the Cannon Soccer Association to come up with an agreement. They had an attorney send over, and I'm not sure why an attorney's involved, but they had an attorney send over a document that I had the opportunity to review this morning, and they tried to sneak in some changes. They tried to get fall and spring season. They tried to change some other things. And the agreement was supposed to be identical to what we had in the spring with them. So I would just ask that when we approve this, that we clarify that it's for the fall season only, that it's pending completion of an audit that they're working on, and that it is pending solicitor review.
In fall 2022.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question on that.
Yep.
On the budget, I reviewed that, and the lawn care at Klinger Park, we're over $6,819 for Klinger Park for,
Well, keep in mind, we also had income at Klinger, and we'll have income already.
when? We don't show we have any income yet, do we?
Yeah,
We're-
we have income, hold on, I can do the math really quick.
How much income have we gotten
We
to
have,
date?
we have over $3,000 in income to date on Klinger, and we also have already rented it out for 2 of the days for the fall season, so it will be rented to an organization Monday and Tuesday evenings at a rate of $200 for the field. So we'll have at least a minimum of $4,000. That's a minimum. That doesn't include hopefully more than that, assuming we don't get any rain.
So to date, so far, we have actually in our bank account 3,000.
I'll have to double check if it's cleared, but there was an invoice sent, yes.
Okay, because there was nothing budgeted.
Right, correct,
And-
because we didn't know at the time that we did the budget in October that we were going to be able to renegotiate the agreement with CMYSA.
So where's this $6,819 coming out of the general fund?
Yeah,
Pardon me?
yeah.
Okay.
The goal is to recoup our total cost for improvements at Klinger from rentals, which is why when Dawn and I sat down to renegotiate with Cannon Max Soccer, it was very important to us to have days that are rentable to outside organizations, because that's how we pay it. They were limited some of the use at Klinger, so they had originally, it was essentially split 50-50 in the spring. That is no longer the case. They are using it, Cannon Max Soccer is only using it from 5 to 7 Wednesdays and Thursdays, and minimally on Saturday mornings, which allows a significant rental opportunity for us. Also, we have by approving it now, we have a longer period of time to get out to other organizations that we have this facility for rental. When we did it in the spring, it was end of March when we finally came to an agreement? It was end of March when we finally came to an agreement. A lot of organizations already had their practices and stuff set up, so we've kind of set that in process too, to kind of get that better.
So did you make a comment that they're not holding up to their contract, that they're trying to?
Well, again, I'm not really sure why we're working with attorneys or why all of a sudden, and I sent that in an email to them yesterday, why we're all of a sudden working through attorneys, but their attorney did send over a contract that was, for lack of a better way, put it, a little sneaky. She tried to sneak in that this was for fall 2022 and spring 2023, which was never the agreement, because they are well aware that we are waiting for an accounting of funds. For about 12 years, they fundraised in the name of Klinger Park and Cecil Township, and we've seen $0 from them.
Yes,
So
and I don't want that to continue. I
Me
want to see
either.
money coming into our
Agreed.
books.
So we are waiting for an audit from them before we enter into any sort of longer-term agreement than one season at a time.
I have a question. Cindy, will we be compensated any more for cutting grass up there?
Yeah, through the rental process. And once they clear their audit, we will be asking for money. They, right now, are doing the line striping up there. They're paying for the porta potties, and they're paying for waste management. That
Okay,
was
but
part
this
of the
was
agreement.
just lawn care that this $6,819 came out
Right.
in the budget.
Right. But that lawn care was stuff that'll go into the fall. At the end of the year, it will be a near wash, if not a complete wash.
It'll be a wash, or will we get money, or is it going to be a wash that no money's, period? It's going to be zero at the bottom of each, or?
That is the goal. Pray to the rain gods that we don't get rained out, and yes, that is the goal. The issue in the spring, we would have gotten over $5,000 in the spring, but we had so much rain, unfortunately, on the days that we had rentals up there, that a lot of the nights they were canceled. Also, keep in mind, Cannon Max Soccer has offered to pay additional monies on top of the line striping and the porta potties. At this point, we've refused that until their audit clears. I don't want to get into mixing and matching money with them, and Gretchen agrees, we talked about this, like, we don't want to take any additional money until they can prove where that original fundraising money came from. That's why we're doing short-term contracts with them, to give them the opportunity to do the right thing and clear that up, and then we can agree. We don't have to rent it to them. If this board come January gets through this rental season and they still haven't completed the audit, or we haven't come through and it hasn't worked out, we have the choice to cancel the future use and to consider our options at that point. But I would ask, let's give them the opportunity, and the kids in the soccer organization the opportunity to have one more season. Hopefully the Canaan Mac Soccer Board does the right thing and gets us the information we're asking for. Otherwise, we'll have a conversation in December, maybe November, December, about what our choices are. Make sense?
Okay, as long as we're not going to come out on a short end of the stick
We won't.
again.
We won't.
The other thing that, this isn't the soccer field, but being that we're on the budget,
Well, hold on.
Okay,
I will
go
let
ahead.
you do budget stuff, but let's get through the final two resolutions, and then
Okay.
you can.
Can we add a deadline for completion of the audit? Are we in a position where we know when it's going to be done so that that can be incorporated into the agreement?
So that was a sticking point with them when Dawn and I met with them. We've been asking for the audit since we started this process in March, and they didn't start the audit until end of June and July, and it really took us putting some pressure on them to even do it. So I would say they are well aware of the fact that we do not plan to continue extending this agreement forever and having them kick this can down the road. So I would say they know that they have until October, November to complete this audit, because it's a forensic audit.
Do you want to put it as a hard deadline, or just say that they'll continue to make good faith efforts to get it completed?
I don't want to put it as a hard deadline, because I want to give them the opportunity to get the right answers.
Let them work through the season. Let's
Yeah.
let them complete their season,
Yeah,
Paul.
but I would say this board, they, in writing, have been told, and in communication from both Dawn and I, have been told that it is a deal breaker for us. So,
To enter into future agreements, future extensions. So you said this extension is pending completion of an audit, but this extension is going to be approved so long as they're making good faith efforts to work towards an audit, and we let them know no future extensions are going to happen if there is no audit. Okay, I can work that language in.
okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. 167, 2022, consider the Board of Supervisors minutes from Tuesday, July 5th, 2022, regular monthly meeting. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. 168, 2022, consider the general fund invoices from July 1st through July 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Go ahead, Darlene, do you want to bring up?
Yes, as far as the budget was concerned, and maybe this can be explained to me, the parks improvements, we budgeted $50,000 this year for park improvements. We're already over $104,630 over. We have spent $154,630,
She's talking about the parking lot.
which leaves us 104 over.
I don't have it in front of me, but I'm 99% sure that that's the parking lot down at the other end of Cecil.
No, not this parking lot. This was supposed to come out of the general fund as far as what the monies that we got
Well,
from.
that is the general fund. The Parks and Rec line item is a part of, the way the budget works is every line item comes out of the general fund. So in an accounting software, it's broken up. So there's $5 million in the
You mean
general
what we
fund.
paid T.A. Robinson is part of that money?
No, the $121,000 we paid for the parking lot comes out of the general fund from the federal COVID monies.
We have to
That's
flip,
right.
we have to
So-
flip it, but we haven't done that yet. So that'll be an accounting cleanup because we have all those COVID money. But in the meantime, it has to come out of somewhere.
So that $104,000 that we're over, right now over budget, will be cleaned up being with what Frank just said.
COVID money, yes. We have to flip COVID money into other, we have limitations on the COVID money of what we can spend our COVID money on. So when you're looking at the accounting, we have to pull money that we can use our COVID money for and put COVID money in and then move that money. But that budget, that's what that is. That's what that parking lot is. And I'm happy to sit down with you and explain to you what I'm talking about. But from an accounting, the budget is at that, it's like a snapshot at that time. It's not, but at that time we did the budget, we didn't know that we were gonna get, and I don't remember the exact amount. Do you remember the exact amount?
We're lucky.
$1,280,000.
1 million, we didn't know that we were gonna get that $1,280,000, and we have to account for it now, after that budget's done.
We're lucky it's only 104.
Pardon me?
We're lucky. Our guys have done a lot of work up there. They stand in buildings, they shingled them roofs.
I
They're
know
building a
that.
shed.
I
Now,
know,
you
but-
want to put that out for bid? What do you think it's going to cost?
I'm just saying right now, it's 50, we
Jeez,
budgeted
they had to fix
50,000.
water lines up there. They had to paint bathrooms, they had to remodel one.
Ronnie, I'm just questioning this because.
I'm just saying.
Transparency, that's all I'm asking.
It's
Okay.
not, I mean, transparency would be us spending the money without taking a public vote. Supervisor Aguizio, and he was right, brought up that the parking lot was in deplorable condition and needed to be improved. We took a public vote to spend additional unbudgeted money in order to repair a parking lot that was in desperate need. There's going to be other budgetary line items that are over because of things that have come up throughout the year, but we are taking public votes on every single additional dollar we're
Right.
spending.
I realize that. As a matter of fact, Frank and I talked about that before we even brought it up here at the meeting, that parking lot needed to be
Then I would
fixed, right,
encourage,
Frank?
Yeah, it was in
We
bad shape.
we had much discussion, you and I.
well,
bad
then I
shape.
would encourage you prior to calling things out in a public meeting and saying that things aren't being transparent to just ask. Ask me, ask Dawn, ask Cindy Stevens, what, hey, this is showing
Well,
up.
I just found this over the weekend. I wasn't gonna call anybody over the weekend. I just happened to look at this and,
Everybody was in the office today 9 to 5. So just pointing that out. It makes, when you call out things like that without knowing, without asking first, it makes it appear as if you're questioning transparency when it was very transparent from the beginning. Any other questions?
not on the budget.
And you can bring up discussion items now.
A couple things.
Go ahead, hold on. Hey, let me make sure she's done. Do you want to bring something else up?
Yes, but does somebody else have something?
No, go
Brian?
ahead. You finish and then he can.
Okay. I met with Don Januso on July 13th, and I asked him why Candy, our stenographer, is no longer being used after many, many years. And his reply was, what did you say to me, Don? What was your reply to me when I asked you why Candy is not our
So
stenographer
I'm
anymore?
I'm gonna ask that you not address this in a public setting because, yes, you can't, Darlene, moving on. We're not addressing this. This is personnel and personal issues. If you want to discuss it with
She's-
the board members,
She's contract labor.
if you, we're not gonna get into discussing
You want to
this
go
in
into
public hearing.
executive session then?
If you want to, we can do it later. That's fine. Moving on. Next point.
That's my main point right now,
Okay.
is why Candy is not our stenographer anymore and was relieved from the zoning hearing
Okay.
board.
So I can't answer why she was relieved from the zoning hearing board. So moving on. Go ahead. Frank?
Okay. Yeah, I had a question, and maybe we need to investigate this. Okay, Huffnagel Excavating was hired by Pan American Water to replace main water lines in Muse on Sycamore Street and Beach Street. And I believe they completed their main line work in around March They've left town. So all the residents in Muse are asking, because I know they have to come back and do service tie-ins every household, which probably may be 100 houses. And I've been told on a good day, probably you would do 3 or 4 tie-ins. I don't know if anybody has information, Bill, if you know anything about Huffnagel. I've been told also today that a lot of times Pennsylvania American Water will contract out a main water line, then hire a separate contractor to come in and do the service tie-ins to everybody's house. So I think we need to investigate this and find out what's going to happen here, because after the tie-ins are done, and then they're proposed to mill and pave the streets, and I think we're going to start to get too late into the paving season, and then to have the ditch lines to deal with them over the winter through salting and that. So, and if we can reach out to Penn American Water to find out what's actually happening in Muse here.
I'll have Renato reach out to them.
Sycamore and Beach Street. They got new main water lines put in February and March, the work wrapped up.
Yeah, they still have service connections to do up there, so.
And, well, the main line comes out onto Muse Bishop Road in front of Holy Rosary Church, Muse. We get a lot of complaints from people traveling Muse Bishop Road. They're hitting the pipe trench, they're hitting that dip. So if we can just reach out and get some answers to find out what's going to happen.
We'll do that. I'll get an updated schedule from them.
Thanks, Bill. On another issue, I was down the park last Sunday after the storm, taking some pictures of the damage in that down here. And I witnessed firsthand, there was an elderly gentleman walking his dog on the walking paths around the park with a baby in a stroller. He was an elderly gentleman and had a pit bull on a maybe a 15-foot leash, and there was a jogger coming the opposite direction by the Miners Pavilion, and the dog got a little aggressive and come after the jogger. I know we have plenty of signs posted in this park. There are no dogs allowed in this park unless you're walking from the parking lot up to Montour Trail to walk on the trail. Somehow, I mean, one accident's going to be too many if a child gets bitten. I've got complaints from people to come here in the morning and walk, and people just let their dogs loose to run through the park. So I don't know what the answer is. I mean, there's plenty of signs posted. Yeah. If we could impose a fine, put a fine below that, a $100 fine or something, I don't want to do that, but if this continues to happen, I mean, we would have to put something with the, no dogs allowed. And one more last final item. We made a lot of improvements to the park. It's looking great, the concession stands, the parking lot. And if we had time, it would be nice before the Fall Festival if we could do something with our stage. It's getting a little worn and, aged. If we can do something with.
I leaned on our amazing, wonderful Director of Public Works and his even better staff to try to get that to work out.
Yeah. Credit goes to the guys, our Public Works crew.
We're blessed with them guys.
We are very blessed to have the guys up there.
Yep.
All the credit goes to them.
So we're hopefully, I had a conversation with Bill prior to this, I think I told you, but just so you know, they're finishing up the concession stand in the next couple weeks, and they're gonna take a look at the stage and try to get us a scope of work to see what can be done.
And we've looked at the stage, and there's a possibility of maybe sanding the existing wood to a level surface, then recoating it, but the big thing, it probably needs a coat of paint also, so it's not in bad shape, but it needs some attention.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. And thanks to our awesome Public Works guys. Go ahead.
I don't know, this question's for Joe or Dan. What's the update on Paoli Road?
The update on Paoli Road is that we have the plan together. We have agreements to get a couple easements that we have to get to improve the site distance, and we're essentially ready to go. We have presented the information to Range Resources. They have agreed to fund a portion of the work. They had originally agreed to pave the road. The project's morphed into something bigger than it is. So we're in the midst of trying to get those last issues buttoned up and then figure out how we're going to get it built.
My main concern is, did Lenny Desmond sign the papers?
We just need a wee little corner of Desmond, just a wee little corner.
But he has passed away.
I talked to his son. John Kosky put me in touch with his son,
Okay,
so we can,
he can sign, because he told me it had to go back to the estate now.
I'm not aware of that, but I'll make a call tomorrow on that.
Let's see if we can get this done before winter if we can.
The only concern I have, Frank, is, Ron, that right now, my experience with contractors, and Frank can speak to this probably better than anybody, is contractors are super short-staffed, and they have too much work on their books. So if you go out to bid right now, it would cost a lot more to do it. Now, Range is willing to pay money. I think they want the township to put it out to bid. They don't want to be involved in the actual building of it. So I would maybe recommend considering it at budget time to put out the bid next year, even with your road program, if you're going to do anything to get the base, get some more savings by making it a little bit bigger.
Plus, we have a call into Range to see what the amount of money is that they're willing to contribute. Because we have to narrow that down too before we can put it out. Because we have to understand how much the township has to put in as far as the work.
Well, we have to do something with that big hole, Bill. You know what I mean? One lady got up to bed, and I know she was off the road, but she ran in that.
Can we do something temporarily until it goes out?
Sort of putting inlets in there and doing a portion of the work that's supposed to be addressed in the contract, There's, in that area right there calls for, in the proposed design, 2 inlets with a new lateral crossing right there. So, I mean,
Let me see, I have a call in.
Should we do it?
we could if I had another crew. I don't have enough guys to do everything we've got going on right now. So, I mean, those guys are, and we still haven't gotten to our paving, in-house paving yet this year. So
We're busy.
we're spread thin right now.
Give us another month, we'll have more definitive answers. I have some calls out to some
Do
people.
that work. I mean, it's not, well, it's, Mark's crew is very capable of doing that work. We've been doing it all over the township.
Could we do it in the fall?
Huh?
Could we do it in the fall?
Yeah, it's just a matter of where, when we find some room in our schedule to get it, so, yeah.
This gentleman's been coming here for months and months, waiting for us to get that road done.
He just likes hanging out with us the first Monday of every month. Yeah. Give us some time. Give us some time. We have a call out to Range to get a more definitive answer. Bill's gonna see if he has room in our schedule, and we're gonna get a definitive answer in September, whether we can work on it in the fall and get something done, or whether we have to make a temporary fix through the winter and then bid it out in the spring. I will, you have my word that we'll have an answer one way or the other in September. No, we'd have to make some sort of temporary fix.
Bill, how many total inlets are there on the job?
2. Well,
4?
2 in that location and 2 down below.
A
on the other
total
side
of
of the
4.
trestle. There's 4 total. Yeah. And a couple of end walls, DW-type end walls.
No, I mean, if you did get a break somehow, you have the men that can do it.
God bless you. Sorry, he sneezed. I said God bless you. Sorry. Okay. Any other items?
Yeah, I want to thank the road department. They did a great job during the storm. And I also want to thank Parks and Rec Board. They had a pretty nice turnout for our first time having the community days. Be nice if we get more people show up next time.
Yeah. I apologize for missing it. I was out of town.
That Parks and Rec Board, whenever they put up the majority of the people were over by where they have the water, for the water sports. They weren't over into where they had the cornhole tournament or the stage, even though they paid for a band. Majority of the people were over on the other side where they had water with hoses and everything. And I feel that the concession stand could have made a whole lot more money if they could more or less consolidate that. And I don't know if
I mean,
they
that's
have
it's something that
water.
That's probably something you want to
available.
address at the Parks and Rec board meeting. We didn't plan it, we didn't have any, I would say control, that's the wrong word,
No,
but we
but it
didn't have
was-
any
it
input
was-
on it.
It was a nice affair for the kids over there, but like I said, I thought that if they could move the water slide and everything, the dunk tank inside the park itself. I don't know if you have the water facility there.
But Bill doesn't run,
Water in the concession stand, there's a
Yeah.
stick in there.
yeah, and Bill doesn't
But
run
is
the
that
Parks
enough
and Rec board.
pressure to go in, like if they were going to throw the, the slip and slide and then they had the
Darlene,
dunk
with all due respect, I'm sure these are all great suggestions, but not for our township board meeting. This is something that can definitely be addressed at the Parks and Rec board, but in an effort to keep this moving along, we'll bring those suggestions up to the Parks and Rec board.
I want to thank Jack. You were the glue that held it together.
You are what?
He was the glue that held the whole thing together.
Good job, Jack.
I think he lost about 20 pounds sweating that day.
Running back and forth. All right, any other items?
Yeah, one other thing is,
Go ahead.
We're gonna set a date for that work session?
Yeah, I was gonna do that, but I was waiting for everybody.
one other thing is, I don't know if you've noticed where the side of the road up there on Klinger, when you go past the, up at the top of the hill, you have to go over into the, when you're going around that bend, you just about have to go over into the left-hand side in order to miss the crumbling edge of the road.
Yeah.
There. And believe it or not, I seen a truck, is there a weight limit on our township roads?
There's not.
There's not.
I think it's a combination of the McConnell project and, there's been very little work hauled off of that site up there where we're out on Klinger Road.
I
don't
didn't
think
think it
it's
was
all
coming
the
from there. I
time.
thought it was the other trucks that are going
Yeah.
because
There's a lot of truck traffic on Klinger Road that comes off the interstate and uses that as a shortcut over to
and
McConnell.
Strenicius had one of those extended bodies on a tractor, was full of rocks. And, yeah, it was coming, and if they go off the side of the road, you might as well kiss the berm of the road
Yeah, well,
goodbye.
that's why the edge of the road's broken up a little bit because of
Yes.
the weight, so, but
And
that's not
that
weight.
is one of the most dangerous places, and school's
It's
gonna be
not weight
starting.
restricted, so.
School's gonna be starting, and if they're gonna have to move the school buses over in the middle of that turn to make that turn, it could be very dangerous.
Sorry. We need to set a meeting, it's my fault, I missed it on the agenda, but we need to set a meeting for the comprehensive plan workshop. We need one more work session and then a hearing. So I would propose that we have it 6 o'clock, Tuesday the 6th, prior to our regular board meeting. It shouldn't take more than an hour to review the
Out of town.
so that doesn't
Out
work.
of town next month.
Darn it.
Can we do it on
okay,
the
well-
16th?
Yeah, so let's schedule that for September 16th. Change of plan, sorry about that. Monday, or no, I don't know, hold on.
That's.
Oh, we can't do it in August. Well, I guess we could. No, we can't, because we're already bumping that to 7:30. Let's do September 12th, Monday, September 12th. Got a thumbs up? Good, Don? Okay. Monday, September 12th at 7.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And then following, just so that you understand, so the next, it will be a workshop, kind of like all the other ones. We'll run through the changes, then not immediately following, but after that, we'll hold a hearing, and then it will be passed. Any other board discussion items? Okay, I'm going to open up for citizens' general comments and questions. John Allen.
John Kosky, want to give you a little bit of an update on where we're at with the ABB property. We're making good progress. We got all the parties involved that we're going to get together and have a meeting with the Southwest Regional Office, the Evansburg office of Bamber. We got ABB's council, the environmental people and everything else, and in talking with Bureau of Abandoned Mines, they're well aware of this project as it had progressed a few years back, and They'd still like to see this site get cleaned up with the funds that they have, and they've recommended to try to apply to get the pilot grant, which involves, you have to have a nonprofit entity to sponsor the grant, to be a subrecipient of a grant. The grant would go, it would be a pass-through grant, which would go to, we would do the work on the site under the direction of the DEP. We would have a gateway and possibly another engineer involved to design the thing, but they're very confident that this could get moved through to be awarded in the early part of next year to help facilitate to get the project moving. And I would like to ask the board if they would sponsor the grant, to be the subrecipient of the grant, to allow this to move forward, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
No,
can't
I'm
speak
with
for
you.
everyone on the board, but I'm more than happy to do that. Okay, so because we're gonna write it in the form of a resolution, but because it wasn't on the agenda, I'm gonna open it up
Yes.
to public comment.
Right.
And then we will actually formally pass a resolution so that you can have something formal to provide that we are doing
Okay.
this. Before we open it up for a vote, what he's asking for is us to essentially be the sponsor or a pass-through John Allen has purchased, or is in the process of
Right.
purchasing the ABB property, so he's taking full financial responsibility for it, but he's still applying for grants. This allows that property to be cleaned up with grant money, but allows the township to not have any, sorry, John, not any financial responsibility, which is kind of an unknown. John's
Right, it
taking
would
that
be,
on.
anytime you get a grant, it goes through, like we did one down in South Fayette Township. We did it to clean the Orange Creek up down there. South Fayette Township Conservation Group sponsored it along with the township. You need a nonprofit to be the sponsor of it to get the grant. That's what I'm asking Cecil Township to do
So
in
from what
this
I'm
case.
hearing, and we'll take a formal vote from the board members and shaking of heads, is that we are in agreement that that would be a good thing to do. Does anybody have any comments that you'd like to step to the microphone?
Make sure you vote to add it to the agenda too, and then,
Yeah. Okay, no public comment. So I want to take a vote to add sponsoring to be a pass-through or sponsor of this grant for John Allen Koski's company for the ABB property. So we're
I'll
adding
se-
it to the agenda right now. Do I have a
I'll
motion?
second that.
I'll move to add it to the agenda. Ron seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So it's been added to the agenda. Now we're going to take a formal vote on the actual grant. So we're going to do the sponsorship of the grant. I'll make a motion to do that. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So it passes 5-0. Thank you, and
Thank you
thank
very
you for
much, and
taking that
I will
on.
keep the board informed as we're progressing with this.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
yeah,
John Allen.
just let us know what you need from us in terms of review.
We're going to have a meeting tentatively scheduled for August the 24th. We're going to have it up here at Cecil, and I'm sure you probably will be.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments or questions? Before we adjourn, we're going to go into executive session one more time.
We missed getting called in there.
Okay. We held an executive session just now for the purpose of appointments and obtaining legal advice. Since there's no other agenda items or issues before this board, this meeting is adjourned.
Is this yours, Dan?
No, you can have it if you'd like.
I cut 'em up and moved.